Talk to me about getting Andy Kaufman in the wrestling business.
Now remember, I'm a New Yorker. It's Kaufman.
Kaufman. It's not
New
Kaufman?
York, we call Kaufman. Kaufman
Kaufman.
is everywhere else in the world. New York is Kaufman. I had Kaufman relatives. But
Got
yeah,
it.
so again, that's a large chapter in my book. Mike, is wrestling fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You can still get it on Amazon. Andy used to come to the garden, Madison Square Garden, and he wanted to convince Vince Sr. to let him wrestle. Vince, we don't want showbiz. Boy, was he in for a
Wow.
rude. Right, yeah.
Holy cow.
So Andy came to my apartment in Queens on the E train. He's starring in taxis on the subway with me. That's how down to earth he was. We went to my apartment. I was living with Susan Sexton, girl wrestler, my best friend. I still talk to her to this day. She lives up in Albany. She's from Australia. She lives up in Albany, New York, not Albany. And she does psychic readings and dog training and dog photography. She's great at it.
Oh.
And we sat down in my living room, and all he wanted to do was talk about Buddy Rogers and Fred Blassie and Vince McMahon. I said, Vince Sr.'s never going to let you do this. I got a friend in Memphis, Tennessee, named Jerry Lawler. Let's give him a call. They have the uh, Frankenstein monster there. They've got the mummy there. They're way ahead of the curve. They're very showbiz oriented. He said, well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, we're wrestling people. We talk to each other 4 o'clock in the morning. So I called Lawler. Nobody knows what that means anymore.
On the actual telephone
Yes.
with a
And he said,
wire.
yeah. He said, you got Andy Kaufman, the guy from Taxi, in your roach infested apartment? I said, yeah. And that's how it came up. I have I don't know if you can see it. I actually have an old, no, my camera won't turn to it, but I have an old one of those antique phones there. Behind you here, those machines behind the Apter chat, that's all my singing machines. Every night for a half hour, I come down and sing. I'm the only guy in the world who can rap Barry Manilow songs. Yo, her name was Lola. She was a showgirl at the frickin' Copa. Anyway,
Andy
anyway,
Kaufman, Jerry Lawler.
yeah. So that's what put the key in the ignition.
How long did he work for? Was it? It was over a year, right?
Andy,
Yeah.
it was longer than a year. They kept that thing. I was there during the big slap at the Letterman show.
You were
Craig
there.
Peters, our editors, and I were behind the camera, and we didn't know this was going to happen. Nobody did.
Right.
Andy and Jerry didn't know. They were supposed to put their arms around each other and start singing "We Are the World"
Right.
and Friends.
Hmm.
Um, and they decided during the commercial break not to do that. So no one knew it. After the show, they were all taken out by security. Letterman was like, whoa. Um, went up to the hotel room and I couldn't believe they did that. I met, if you remember the show Taxi,
Sure.
Danny DeVito,
Of
Andy,
course.
Judd Hirsch, and I met Judd Hirsch once. And I introduced myself as the guy that put Andy in wrestling. And he says, nothing personal, but I wish you wouldn't have done that. And I said, why? He showed up late for our shows. His mind was in wrestling all the time. He blew a lot of our rehearsals and stuff.
Wow.
He just didn't care anymore. So I had heat with Judd Hirsch. Again,
Plug your stuff.
my stuff, you can follow me on X, Twitter at Apter, and the number one, Apter One Wrestling. That's what I had when I worked with the late Bob Ryder, who I miss very much at onewrestling.com. My book, of course, is Wrestling Fixed.
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. You
You're
can
welcome.
get that on Amazon. Patreon, very important to me because they just started this whole thing, Backstage Pass, Sportskeeda on Patreon. Not just me, but if you hate Vince Russo, or if you like him. He does the Bro Show on there. He's also got a show with Jonathan Coachman, the coach and the Bro. Also, JBL and Gerald Briscoe have a show hosted by Joe Lowry. My weekly newsletter is on that platform, and a lot more, and it's only $4.99 per month, and you can drop out whenever you want, but you won't want to once you see all this great stuff. And like I said, if you loved the magazines when I worked for them, so everything's backwards when you're on camera here.
Right.
That's the Apter Chat every Thursday. Um, it's a weekly newsletter with breaking stories, and also uh, there is a very controversial person, Joe, who does a site called Wrestle Votes. Well, he's got his own show on Backstage Pass, and once a week on Tuesdays, Joe Lowry, and I go live for 45 minutes. You can ask any questions you want on that same platform. And now during the week at 11 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday night, Dr. Chris Featherstone and I on Wrestle Binge, which is owned by Sportskeeda, we are live for a half hour of unscripted talk. And also Mac Davis and Teddy Long and I tape every Tuesday night for a show called The Time Machine, but it doesn't go back in time. It's current stuff, and it's really good. So I'm actually doing more now than I did when I was younger in the magazine days. Make sense?
That's
And a
awesome.
daytime job too, where I help people with disabilities to find jobs for a company called Access Services in Pennsylvania.
That's
And I
awesome.
love doing it.